All right, everybody. I'm back. Good to be back. Good to be back. So, tell you what, it's Wednesday afternoon, Wednesday evening, depending on when you're watching this. There was supposed to be no Aaron Torres pod today. We were originally going to go live Wednesday morning, but I got back late from Vegas on Tuesday. We did our 2 live shows from Stadium Swim at Circa. We appreciate Circa for hosting us. Unbelievable time there. I'll be back there in a few weeks for the Players Era Championship. But I thought I was going to host a show, and then I said, you know what, we'll wait till Thursday. But there was a piece of late breaking news that I felt like let's just hop on it tonight because it's topical, it's something people care about, and it's certainly a plot twist that nobody saw coming. But Tyran Stokes, the number 1 high school basketball player in America, there was certainly a big piece of news about him, but not the one that I think we all thought. So Tyran Stokes is the number 1 high school basketball player in America. We've talked about him quite a bit on this show. There was talk early that he was going to reclassify. Then he stayed in 2026. I think the last time that we talked about him, he had cut his list to 5. And since then, he has since cut his list to 3, Oregon, Kentucky, and Kansas. By the way, this light above me is giving me all sorts of trouble, so forgive me. So I thought the next time we were going to be talking about him, he would be committed or in the process of committing, maybe set an announcement date, whatever. But we did get a piece of news that he is no longer enrolled at the high school that he was supposed to play his senior year at, okay? So for people who don't know my background, I'm from Connecticut. I do live in California now, though. And where Tyran Stokes plays high school basketball, as I've said many times, not far from where I live. And so what was interesting was being in the area, I don't know anyone at Notre Dame. I don't know anyone in his camp, okay? So I want to be clear. But you meet people, and you meet people in the industry, you meet high school coaches. I have contacts, and people started hitting me up, the last day or so, 2 days. Hey, you hearing anything about Tyran? And transparently, I was traveling, I was at games. It was just not like on the forefront of my mind. Then on Wednesday morning, Eric Sodenheimer, who is basically like an institution in LA, he's been covering high school sports forever. I mean, think about the biggest name in your media market. That's kind of who this guy is. Everybody knows Eric Sodenheimer. Everybody respects Eric Sodenheimer. He put out a tweet that, hey, like Tyran Stokes might not be playing basketball this year at Sherman Oaks. And just minutes ago, probably maybe an hour or two since the people that are listening, the school did announce that he's no longer enrolled. And so what I want to do is kind of want to talk about what the school said, what is currently being reported, what I know, and what's next, because I do think when you have the number 1 high school basketball player in America no longer enrolled at his high school, it's one, a weird story, but 2, the question becomes, is he going to enroll early in college? Is he going to try to pull, for Kentucky fans, remember Shaden Sharp enrolled mid-year and then was able to get, like, there's just a lot of variables. There's a lot of conversations. I'll tell you what I know. I'll tell you what I don't know. I'll share what I can, and we'll make this one quick, okay? So Tyran Stokes is no longer enrolled at his school. First off, the official statement from the school, I'll just read it. This is from his high school. Notre Dame High School acknowledges Tyran Stokes' decision to withdraw and explore new opportunities. We appreciate the contributions he made to our basketball program and community during his time here. We wish Tyran all the best as he pursues his goals and his future goals, and we are confident he will find success. So that's what the school released, okay? That he's withdrawn, whatever. Now, again, the questions become, is he trying to get in college early? What is the deal? What is this? Why is he leaving? Because it certainly is weird timing, right? It's the middle of a semester. You don't leave a high school in November unless, let's call a spade, something weird happens. Well, what I could tell you is there's been a little bit of reporting on this. I'll just reference, so Sports Illustrated, Tarek Fattel, he's another guy, SoCal institution, knows everybody. He put out a report. I'll share what he wrote. I'll share a little bit of what I know and then what comes next. So Tarek Fattel at Sports Illustrated said Stokes was facing disciplinary issues at his school, including altercations with students. He served a suspension that kept him sidelined during multiple high school football games. Remember, he had signed up to play high school football after never playing before and had not been at school this week, according to sources close to the situation. He continued, and this is all on Sports Illustrated. There were rumblings about Stokes' future at Notre Dame that started a couple weeks ago. As of late, things started to become more predictable when he missed the team's photo day. The team's Midnight Madness was canceled this week, and he wasn't on campus Monday, November 3rd. That's all from Sports Illustrated. Okay, so a million people are going to ask me questions. This is what I know, and this is what I can share, and if more details come out, whatever. But the big thing in there that people kind of hung on to Stokes was facing disciplinary issues at the school. What I can tell you, my understanding of everything, that is factually correct. There was an issue between him and somebody else. I will say it was nothing. Like let me put it this way: stuff happens, right? And no one's perfect, and I'm not casting blame on anybody. I don't know every detail. What I would say is not good. It was disciplinary. But I don't think it's anything. Let me put it this way: I don't think it's anything that was so bad that any of his finalists would be like, this is a non-negotiable, we're done. And again, this is based on the information that I have here as I record here at about 5 p.m. Eastern time. But as of right now, I don't think like any school's like, oh, we can't take him because of what we think happened at Notre Dame High School. And I would also add, if what I think happened in the manner that it did, again, I'll let somebody else get those details out. That's not my lane. I guess what I would say is I think there would be a million other schools in line to take him. So this is not like he'll never play college basketball. But what I also don't think it is some weird way to get enrolled in college next semester to play college basketball. First of all, I don't know if I'll be honest, I don't know if players, if they enroll in mid-year, can play that year. But I don't know if Tyran Stokes is even in position to do that. There was talk, as I said at the beginning, of him reclassifying this year. And my understanding is academically, it wasn't a possibility. Not blaming him, whatever. I couldn't have graduated after 3 years of high school. But remember, to reclassify, you have to have graduated high school. And so I don't know if he's even in an academic standing where he could, if he wanted to enroll in college next year. That would require him to be finished with high school. And certainly if he's going to be changing schools or doing online classes or whatever over the next couple of weeks, I don't know that that's going to help expedite the process. So one, as of right now, I don't believe that this is like some, we're going to get an announcement this week that he's committing to Kentucky and enrolling for the second semester. Same with Kansas, same with Oregon. I'll be honest, I think at least one staff that is recruiting him, maybe he wasn't even fully aware that this was coming down. So like, again, this isn't some backhanded scheme to get him on campus at any individual school. And I do think it'll be interesting what happens next. I mean, I think the most likely possibility, if I was guessing, is that he will probably enroll at another high school. Now, I think the question becomes, what is the high school? Is it like an OTE type situation? He was at Prolific a few years ago. He actually played with AJ DeBonsa there. Prolific has actually moved. They were in California. Now the school is in Florida. I think the interesting side story there would be Caleb Holt plays at Prolific, right? So like, if we're talking about Caleb Holt and Tyran Stokes playing together, that would be interesting. But I guess what I'm trying to say is that I don't think this is some weird thing to get him into college basketball in the coming weeks. I don't think that is like I don't think it's something that's on the table this second. Now, listen, give it another week, give it another 2 weeks. Maybe somebody figures something out. I don't know. But I think what's most likely is he just ends up at another high school this year. Now, does he play high school basketball this year? I think that's another variable. Is it possible that he just focuses on academics, shuts down basketball, and just focuses on graduating and getting to college as soon as he possibly can? So I don't know how good those details are. I don't know if you're satisfied with what I've told you, but I guess what I would say is a couple things. I've said it a few times. I don't think he's enrolling this year in college. If he somehow got to college, I don't think the Shaedon Sharpe path is in play, okay? The Shaedon Sharpe thing was so unique for a Kansas or Oregon or Louisville fan that's watching that doesn't even know what I'm talking about. So Shaedon Sharpe committed to Kentucky in whatever it was. I want to say maybe the fall of 2021. I could be mistaken on that. I apologize if I am. But I bring it up because he commits in the fall of 2021. And then you start to hear these rumblings that he wants to reclassify, enroll, and train with the team. It was the fall of 2021 because he was on campus the year Oscar Tshiebwe was unbelievable. So it was the fall of 2021. He commits, and then a few weeks later, you start to hear, oh, he wants to enroll for next semester and train. Now, going back to that story, that was a situation where he was able to convince the NBA that he had technically graduated in time to be eligible for the next NBA draft. And so I'm kind of off topic here, but with Shaedon Sharpe, that was a very unique deal where he enrolled. He said, oh, I'm coming back next year. It's just to get ready. But he was able to convince people that he had graduated the year before and whatever happened with that. And so to fast forward with Tyran Stokes, like it would be a pretty tough sell that he graduated on time to be eligible for the next NBA draft, which would be in June of 2026. So my guess, if I was handicapping this thing, I would say it's most likely he just ends up in another high school, finishes up the academics, maybe plays basketball. I don't think it's in the cards that he commits and enrolls for January. And I certainly don't think it's in the cards that he commits in January and then is playing either one, playing college basketball this year. I don't think that's on the table at all. And then two, somehow finagling away into the 2026 NBA draft. So those are the details that I have right now. It is, again, right around 5 p.m. Eastern time. As more information comes out, we'll share. If there's new information by the time we go live on Thursday morning at 11 Eastern, we will certainly talk about that. But Tyran Stokes no longer enrolled. That's what we know right now. Don't think this is some side hustle to get into college. I just think it's an unfortunate situation.